Right then. All right. Hump day update here. Um, so, got my first diagnostic call under my belt. Um, Pretty easy to figure it out. And unfortunately, I got to order parts. But it's an old refrigerator. Um, it's been used and abused, so it's just what it is. Sometimes that happens. But I'm driving through one of the popular tourist trap Northwoods towns here, and one of my dream boats is sitting here. Yep. As soon as I become rich, bitch, I'm putting one of these in the stable. An old wooden Chris Craft. Yeah, this one needs a restoration, obviously. But look at this thing. 1940s, 1950s. It's got a big inboard, probably a V8. In some cases a V12. Jet drive, or no, excuse me, prop drive. These are the exhaust pipes for the engine. Yeah, this thing's badass, but it needs a restoration. You know, where are you going to find this? You're not. These step pads. You know, this is what they're supposed to look like when they're in good shape. There might be reproduction companies out there that, because these old Chris Craft boats are, it's cult status. Yeah, it's a big thing, but it's a rich man's game for sure. Okay. This is a 1936 Chris Craft, 18-foot double cockpit, sold as is, needs attention, accepting a reasonable offer. Yep. Look at that. Look at the lines. Look at the mahogany on the deck, or the teak. It's all needs a rework. Seats are in great shape. Oh, the old vintage analog gauges, right? Damn. Let's take a look at this motor. Oh, it's missing the drive coupling. Throttle linkage is all taken off. This thing's not a runner. An Interceptor. Yeah, that's a V. That's a V6. Yep. That is way cool. Yeah. Should I piss off Scrunchy and come home with that? Stuff that behind the garage? Yeah, so we got some questionable situation down here. Yeah. Even in the shape this is in, this is gonna require a lot of money and work. So yeah, here's your throttle right here on the steering wheel. Remember I was talking in one of my videos about Bakelite, the precursor to plastic? That's a Bakelite steering wheel right there. Yeah. So you'll see how the sunlight cracks it. You get all these cracks in it. Yeah. But there's actually companies that restore it. Got your own old magneto start switch, which has been bypassed and a different one has been added down below. Got to have the cigarette lighter. Everybody smoked back in the day. This is the shift lever for forward and reverse. Pretty simple. Yeah. Now there's a big antique boat show coming up here in this town soon, in July sometime. And all of these boats, I'd like to go to it. all of these boats are the collectors and stuff. They're all up here with their boats, and they got them down at the marina right across the way. And you can go check them all out. You can listen to them run. You can watch them run around on the lake. And in some cases, the owners actually charter rides. So in a 4-person or a 6-person cockpit boat like that, you can pay a small fee and you can actually ride in one of those things. They'll take you for a short cruise around the lake. And yeah, I'll tell you what, man, the sound of these boats just puts lead in my pencil. Yeah, that's a long boat. God, I'd love that in the stable. Not gonna lie. So, there was a sign somewhere. You would think it would be put right by that boat. Oh, there it is. I'm actually gonna go take a picture of it. I think that's the sign. So I remember the dates. And, is that it? Blah, 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 blah. Live music. I don't know if that's the sign I saw before sitting here or not. But they're antique. No, this is for the fireworks. Damn it. They always put a sign on this corner for the antique boat show, and for some reason it's gone. So I don't know what the deal is. I don't think I missed it. It's in July. I'll look it up online, but I'd like to take that in. Yeah, for sure. So, that thing. But the problem with something that old and that vintage is that finding replacement parts is not easy. You don't just go down to your local O'Reilly's Auto Parts store and find a rubberized hub coupling for that output shaft. No. You pretty much have to have one custom made. Rubber deteriorates over time, so any NOS parts, which stands for new old stock parts, they're all dry rotted and rubber checked, and they're no good anyway. So even if they're sitting on a shelf, so you got to find. It's back like when I was restoring. I had a 1957 Volkswagen bus. That's first generation stuff, right? And the first combis or Volkswagen buses came out in the 40s. And I got my hands on a 57 that actually started. It ran. It had been parked for 15 years. I put some gas down the carb, made sure there was oil, hit the key, and it started and idled. Bought it for $300. That bus followed me around for 15 years. My ex-wife never complained because I had a Sanford & Son collector car that I was slowly but surely restoring. I finally had to sell it because I had to put a roof on the house, and since I was a broke loser with no credit, essentially I didn't have the money to put the roof on the house, so I sold the bus to finance the roof. Yeah, I cried on that day. That thing followed me around everywhere I went. And I bought it in my 20s when I first got married. And but finding parts for that, same thing. A steering wheel that was in good shape? No. Now, there was a company I found that restored the steering wheels. The guy knew how to fix that Bakelite. but you'd pay $500 to get a steering wheel restored. Yeah. That's not the only Bakelite component on that vehicle. So there was other things like window knobs, crank knobs, stuff like that was all cracked, dried out, shot. Yeah. Cost a fortune to restore one of those old Volkswagen buses. As a result, you sell them at auction. If you look at the Hagerty auctions and these big automotive auctions, restored Volkswagen buses are selling for $150,000, $200,000. Yeah. Yep, mine's gone. But a boat like that, it would be the same thing. I would have to get immersed into the world. I'd have to join clubs, chats, forums, things like this, just to find people who could help me restore that boat as far as parts or reproduction parts. So, yeah, but I'm not gonna lie, I would love to have that sitting in one of the stalls of the garage, open up the door every day, sit on a stool over coffee and smokes and stare at that thing of beauty. But all right, I just thought I'd show you that. Talk to you soon.